Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm Gianna.
And welcome to the We Watch It All podcast,
where we watch it all and give you our opinions.
AKA the opinions no one ever asked for, but here they come, because I got a lot of opinions.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh,
She's trying to say that I fell asleep, and that's why I'm not interested in these
housewives.
housewives.
You literally did. I had to keep waking
up. The fact that I fell asleep.
You would have fell asleep no matter who it was.
I don't
yes.
know. No.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe so, but I don't know.
It was late at night.
It was not.
For you, it was. Anything past, 8 is late.
I guess that's true.
It was 9:30. It was pushing it was honestly, we probably finished around 10.
Here's the problem.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Look at Cooper. He got that leg up there and then propped it on the what's that called?
Floorboard.
He bounced it on the floorboard, yeah.
Anyway, here's the thing. If they were, I was tired. Of course, I'm always tired. But here's my thing. I just felt like I could dip off and you could wake me up and I didn't feel like I missed much. And I'm going to be honest, after rewatching it, I didn't miss much. Some of my notes were a little cockamamie, but there was something about...
I will. Once we get to that point, I'll just say I remember...
But I think I got rid of some of the stuff.
Well, I know the one towards the end of the episode.
There was something
I picked up her phone because I was trying to set up this thing in our fitness app, and all I know is I saw one of the notes said, "And Bryn was poor too."
That's it. No, that's the last one.
Apparently, Bryn was poor too. I was like,
but I have something about no sissy. Yeah, I don't know what to say. There was some interesting. That was.
I think you would have still fell asleep if it was last week of OC.
No, I don't know. It was
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Well,
she's fallen asleep sitting up. She's fallen asleep doing a lot of things. We've recorded podcasts in full on hard plastic siege, and she fell asleep. There is
no.
Oh, sorry. Our dehumidifier leaks, and now we didn't want Cooper to look up the leaky puddle.
No, we didn't want him to think it was a drink. Anyhow, I don't recall the title. It was two something in a shish kebab. No,
shushushka. Something in a shushka.
Two biscuits and a shushushka. No.
You were onto something. I don't know where you got biscuits, but two truths and a shushushka, because they played two truths and a lie.
I knew it was two somethings and a something. I just went with biscuits because I figured we were talking food. I don't know.
And when did they even eat a biscuit?
No, I thought maybe it was because they weren't eating biscuits, because they kept saying she wasn't feeding them. They're very obsessed with food, these women.
I know, but I don't know where you got biscuits from.
Could be a new thing for the housewives because, they don't typically eat.
Yeah.
So... OC's trying to get the food constantly now. So, hey, I don't know. But they start in Erin's Hampton house. You know what? Here's the thing. It's hard to judge these Hampton houses because they look like they're in the woods sometimes. But, I know with, Bethany Frankel's house, she's got, a deep woods thing behind her. But then she does have houses, all around her. So it makes it look like when you look out her back house, she's in the woods in marsh or something like that. But
yeah,
so I don't know if this is similar to that and it's just the way it's set, but they all wake up and I can't figure out, she's downstairs, so I guess her bedroom's downstairs.
Yeah.
Erin, it was a weird dynamic, and Jessel wakes up and she is so cold that she states that she didn't know she was going into a cryo chamber this morning. Apparently there was no heat upstairs.
I know.
Why didn't anybody get up and ask her and be
That's
hey,
okay,
it's so cold upstairs. Can you do something? Or blanket? Or
to be oh, it's kind of cold. Do you think?
But to continue to sit there.
Well, that too, but also why didn't you say anything? But then you're gonna hone on it on the whole day.
Make her feel bad.
You didn't.
She might not. She obviously clearly didn't even realize.
No,
it.
Yeah, and clearly there was two different ones. There was a thermostat in Erin's bedroom, if you notice, it was on the wall. It was that nest thing.
I'm sure there was, yeah.
But
because if nothing else, there's one for up and one for down.
One for upstairs.
Yeah.
Which, first off,
in those rich houses,
you could have just tried to change it, I guess. But
we all know if Bryn was there, you wouldn't have done that.
No, but here's my thing. You should have just asked. You could have just texted her and said, "Hey, it's kind of cold up here. Are you awake?
Yeah, are you awake or something?" Or even knocked on her door. I don't think she would have had a fit if you said, "I'm cold upstairs." I'm sure she would have been "Oh my God, if nothing else, let me get you another extra blanket."
It was a little weird, the honing in on it, though, because it's you are staying here for free.
I feel like that's what these girls do, and clearly some of them notice it and some of them don't. But, the ones that notice it also, I feel like they also complain. There's a lot of complaining. And it was weird complaining, gotta be honest. It wasn't even
it's a little bit
entitled.
Petty complaining.
Yeah, it was very entitled, very stupid complaining. I guess she said all the guest rooms were cold, and I felt really bad for her because she is trying to make a nice thing and have them at her house, and it is difficult because I guess in the fall and winter everything's not as it should be as in the summer, obviously. Sometimes they actually shut these houses down and shut off and so the pipes don't freeze and all like that. So I don't know, but you would think the heat would still be working because it seems like she frequents the house. I mean, I don't know. And then, of course, we come to find out that Gianna actually left the house and she didn't even stay over. She went back to her house, which I understand. I mean, if you have a house that's that close, it is kind of weird. Well, but if you did agree to stay.
I got her reason because she was like, they were partying. She didn't want to disturb them. She had to get up at 6:30. I will say the only part I was like, I mean, you probably should have not tried to like sneak out.
Yeah, I don't know why you just didn't tell them. Say, hey, I'm going back to my house because,
bye.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you didn't want to like make a big thing, you just told her, I'm like, I'm just going to go for the, like, I'm just going to go. Like, if you didn't want to bring it up in front of all the girls.
I don't want to bring it up and wreck the time for all the girls, but I have a call in the morning and this and that. And I mean, clearly after seeing that, Erin's room was downstairs. I mean, I don't think she would have cared either, though, but I guess she was more comfortable in her own house to be making like business phone calls or what have you.
Well, that too, because it's also like, I guess it goes both ways where it's like they're going to potentially keep her up for a call. She has to get up early in the morning, and then early in the morning she's going to get them up and potentially wake them up. Yeah,
I think either way
would be another thing. You're going to wake them up and they're cold now.
Yeah, I think she would have lost out no matter how she did it, but and then I think Uba came in next.
Uba came in.
Yeah, she came in next. She was also complaining, of course, about that it was cold in her room as well. Then Sai comes in, and she like falls over the carpet, like the corner of the carpet.
I think it looks like she like slipped and her foot went under and like tripped over. I'm not really sure how she did that.
I don't know. She flipped the carpet backwards and definitely went down. And I mean, she gets right back up, thankfully. But she hears them like they are just complaining.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like every.
But the sad part was she was coming in to try to find where the black tea was. I mean, well, all right, that's just you're finding where the tea is. I get it, but I think there was something the day before, or well, last week, but you know, the day before when they were saying something about she was requesting tea, like a special, because Jenna was talking about the coffee, and she was talking about a special tea or something that she wanted to make sure she had, and I guess she did have it, but she was looking for the tea to make tea or whatever. But they all start homing in on Jenna again, saying like, you know, I guess they were mad at that, like she did leave, and why did she end up leaving? Yeah, that it was kind of weird that she just like up and left. I did not, honestly, knowing that she had a house out there, I didn't expect her to stay. I expected her to pull an Erica and leave.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing too, though. It's like they should have just like planned it out originally that she was going to leave, since originally somebody was going to have to double up in the bedrooms, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
Like you should have just said,
let her leave.
Let her leave.
Yeah.
Like now, especially like let her leave because now you've given room for Brent.
Apparently not. So yeah, because I think she is like, she reminds me a little bit of you with like certain things, like where like I could see you like wanting to join in but not wanting to commit to that whole overnight situation. Yeah. So like I felt like, especially since she talked to her about it, I mean, I think it could have went both ways. I think Jenna could have openly said something to Erin, because she had already asked her, like, I want to make sure you're comfortable. I know this is different for you. And she did go into it.
Well, that's also, I think, why she kind of gives her more of a pass on this, because she does say in her sit-down, Erin, that it's like, she knows that this was, like, awkward for her, different for her. So it's like, you know, she gets a little pass from her.
So I guess they all end up somehow back downstairs, and then she comes in, and, you see her coming in, and she comes in with, like, 4 coffees, which didn't make much sense to me, because I was like, okay, well, no, I guess because the other girl was having tea.
Yeah, so maybe she doesn't drink tea, then.
So she brought that coffee, Jenna, for the other girls, and I guess she was going to make the shashuka. I don't know what that is. It's probably like a Danish. That's what I think it probably.
It's got to be like a pastry of some sort.
Because
it sounds like something. I've never heard of it though.
Although I don't know, because she kept making it sound like it would be something that you'd feel sick after eating. Like,
but a pastry could be heavy.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, imagine eating like a cinnamon roll or like a croissant, to look up and see what it is. And then like having to go work out. Yeah. This morning, no. If I had a cinnamon roll, leg day, I would have been passed out on the floor. Well,
here's the thing again that we're already going to start to experience, because I think she's slightly older than the other girls.
No, she is. She's 55. She's older than you.
Yeah, so I think
I did not realize
I think she's more like, she would have probably fit in better with the Ramonas and Luann's and stuff. Not because, I mean, I don't think she's quite that age, obviously, but I think she would have blended better with them, because she is more reserved. They're more reserved. So I think she would have been good on. I think they could have went with her as an addition to the show. I think she would have worked out if they had kept Leah, her, and the other girls.
Ebony.
I think it would have. Yeah, I think it would have worked out.
They would have brought her too. Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think she would have been like a middle ground to breach this age and that age together. I think it would have worked.
If they replaced her with got rid of Ramona and put her in, because I still think like, I just think Ramona can't play with anybody that's like
no, I think
young.
she's a Debbie Downer.
Luann and Sonia from Crappy Lake, you can see they will get down with anything.
I think even Dorinda would have worked. I think they could have brought Dorinda back, and I think she would have probably worked out with them.
I think that
but
could've...
I think Ramona, no, she would have had to go. I think that actually might have been an interesting little dynamic. But I mean, she just goes in to tell them that I'm sorry. Where my room was, I was right upstairs, and you could hear the music, and there was no way I was going to fall asleep, and I just wanted to go sleep because I knew I had to get up for the call. And I mean, she has a point. Granted, I know she shouldn't have left because that was not the deal. But if she was going to go upstairs and go to sleep early anyway, she wasn't really with them.
No.
So she was already packing out.
I feel like most of their issue was with the not saying goodbye, not saying anything, and that's just trying to sneak out.
Yeah, they gave her.
But if she's socially awkward like that,
why are you surprised? Like, I
get. But here's the thing. That's the thing. Erin is forgiving her really easily because I think she knows her better than the other girls. But like, I feel like if I did that, if I was in a group, my one friend who knew me, they'd be like, yeah, whatever, just go. But like, other people would be like, oh, that's rude. She just left without saying goodbye.
Well, I think they were also mad because they said she had like the best room or something like that.
Yeah, they did give her the best
that
room.
was like another thing that made them mad, that she didn't even stay in it. And like Sai said that she could have went and stayed there. She was in a room with like that was for the crib, and she could have went and stayed in it. Yes, and that part I get it.
After you saw her leave, why not go sleep in her room?
That's what I'm saying. If she's gone, like, you could have just slept in the bed. You didn't have to move all your stuff in. You just could have used the bed. But if she was already packing out of the whole thing, and I'm sorry, but I know this girl from, like I said, from another show, Jenna Lyons. On that show, you could clearly see that she is socially awkward. Like, you know she has something. So if I could pick that up from watching one show, you're spending all this time with her. Like, how do you already not know that this is like something she has? You already, everybody discussed
been at least 2 weeks of filming.
Yeah, well, that's what we found out because we ended up watching a Bethany YouTube video that had Jill Zarin, and they watched the new episodes together.
Yeah,
and it helped a lot because it gave a little context to some of the stuff that we were questioning, like this whole restaurant situation that they refused to talk about, which they all figured out what it was and what restaurant it was. And not Ramona. You got me saying Ramona
Jill
now.
Zarin.
Jill Zarin said that there was another girl that I remember was on it, and there was a problem with her saying things that were inappropriate or whatever, and they cut her out. So that's
I'm assuming they probably filmed with her at the restaurant.
That's what they were saying, and that's why they cut her out.
I know. Bethany was like, don't theorize, but that makes so much sense.
No, but it does make sense. The whole cheese thing and all that.
Why we felt like they just jumped right into the episode.
Yeah, why we didn't see this cheese plate and all like that. I bet you they did film it, and they just figured this is entirely too hard to cut out, like Jill said. And they just said, okay, so we're just going to jump in and start
because
here.
You know what? Even episode 2 and 3 is like pretty early for a girls' trip, I feel.
Yeah.
Where this might have been episode 4 or 5, which would have made more sense because that's the same time that OC did it, where they would have had the first 2 episodes. Because that's the
thing is, like, they are saying that these two, Jill and Bethany, that they were not friends prior to this. But based on these episodes, like we were saying last week, we really thought that they were friends. In some way, shape, or form, they were kind of all connected. But that explained a lot because maybe they weren't friends, but by now they've developed friendships because they've been in a couple of episodes together.
I feel like they might have been like, they might have had a link and a connection.
Yeah, I don't think they were very friendly because in these episodes they are divulging a whole lot. Like, they're sharing a whole lot about each other, so, like, you can tell they're, like...
They don't know each other that well.
They're really, like, giving their whole, like, life history and different whatevers. But I guess they, like, work around it, and they seem to move on from this whole debacle that she left the house. So everybody starts getting ready to exercise, and the trainer comes over, and apparently the trainer also knows Brynn, who now magically is coming up. Because we find out she only had strep throat, so hallelujah.
She got her shot, and she's good to go.
It's just strep, so she can show up, I guess, because once you get your first dose, you're good to go. You're not contagious, they consider it. They all start getting dressed, and Uba, I always feel like I'm going to say her name wrong. Uba is, like, flirting with the trainer.
Yeah.
I guess she is single.
No, yeah, I think most of them are.
Well, no, Jessel's married.
Okay, so maybe
Sia's
it's just
married,
Uba and Brynn then.
Yeah, so maybe it's them two. And Jenna's kind of like dating someone, they said. But so she is flirting with this trainer. And she was actually, it was like kind of cute or whatever. But then apparently Brynn has worked with him.
Yeah.
And she knows him. And as soon as she comes on the scene, she immediately starts the flirt. But it's interesting watching her come on the scene because she knew she was coming to someone's house. So why she was acting like somebody was picking her up at the front door and taking her bags up to her room like they had a bellhop there was like quite comical.
Well, I loved, though, with every housewife, no matter what it is, if you're not in the Southampton, you're not there. That was the first thing she said, was that she was not in the South. Like, it doesn't, clearly
like, oh,
it's
but
not.
I guess it's nice.
It's not even like a generational thing where you're like, oh, it's just the older ladies that don't want to be anywhere. But nope, it's everybody. Yeah, it's there or else.
Yeah, it's really.
But let me tell you, every Hampton house I've seen, from Erin's to anybody's, they all look the same to me.
Yeah, I could, especially from the outside. Like, her house looked like Bethany's house.
I would, if you showed me their houses and been like, is this in the Southampton? Where is this part? I would be like, they all are probably the same.
They're all still very expensive. It's not like it's cheap. I just guess it's like,
maybe it's more of like
more where the stores and all like that, and the water and all like that, like the beaches and stuff like that, I think is what gives it that. But they're doing their little exercises and being all cutesy and whatnot. And all I could focus on was that she left the freaking door open.
Oh yeah, that was the
kitchen.
first thing she said.
And I'm thinking to myself, there has to be like 101 mosquitoes and flies and stuff that are just flying in this lady's house that you're gonna have to go sit in later. So good job.
Yeah, but when they go back inside too, if you notice, she makes them leave all their shoes outside the door. But I was looking at that, and I'm like, after you just said the thing that she probably let all these flies in. But you know what? It is. It's like going into winter, so maybe it's not too bad.
No, it might not be. Yeah, it might be all right.
But she would not have that happen.
No, there's no reason for that. That's just crazy talk. I mean, come on now. So they do their little exercise, and they all decide that I guess they're going to get dressed for lunch. In the meantime, you have Bryn and Uba discussing. That's the thing, is like, I just feel like the conversations are kind of weird. Like, you have them discussing the fact that Jenna left the house and that, you know, she got ripped because she didn't go to a restaurant of choice or whatever, but Jenna's allowed to have a full-blown pass, and I don't think that's fair. That she... Okay.
Cooper doesn't agree.
Okay, you sit, baby. You want the pass. She, you know, is kind of starting trouble, but again, like, then see, like, that doesn't go anywhere. Like, it just kind of sits there.
That sets up for her to bring it up at the lunch.
Yeah, I guess.
She needed to know about it, though. They had to catch her up. You got to keep that in mind, because she hasn't been there.
That's true.
So she needed to play the catch-up game when you're not there.
Yeah, they were kind of telling her about that whole thing. They're so excited to go to lunch because... once again, they keep saying that she hasn't fed them. So apparently this is going to be the theme.
Starving housewives.
Starving the housewives. I don't know, but my gosh. So Jenna is one of the first ones down. She's sitting very casually dressed. I mean, she looked nice. She had jeans and like a little jacket, scarf, the whole bit. And then the other ladies start coming down, and they are like...
progressively way more dressed up than
oh my gosh, without a doubt. I mean, that's, you know, look, it's your prerogative. You dress how you want. Some people like to dress very casually. Some people always like to be dressed up. So,
well, you know what? So I better have came dressed up because she needs to empty out that suitcase.
And she did take some pictures, I won't lie.
Which, you know what? I kind of like that they did show them, like, just at least like a quick, like, few seconds
doing what they do.
Because here's my thing. Housewives always have pictures from these dinners and these trips, and you never see them take them. But it's like, they clearly took time to take the photos.
No, they took
It's not like they would need to see them, but like...
No, but just, I mean, it's part of what they're doing. That's her job. So it's kind of weird that she wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So Jenna says that in the Hamptons, she, you know, it's usually kind of low-key.
Yeah.
And even like when Erin came down, she's like, it's a little dressed for SAG. I guess she means Sag Harbor. Like, it's a little too dressed for where they're going.
Well, they all pulled out the khaki, too, like she said. Apparently,
she's like, we couldn't find it from my house, which is true.
In the Hamptons,
they didn't know what khaki was, but here they know.
They are literally head-to-toe khaki.
Yeah, it was amazing. And dressed alike. Like, 3 out of the 5, 6 of them were dressed.
Like, they could have walked on a fashion show, and you would have been like, yeah, they're all the same outfit.
Yeah, those are all from the same designer. Sure, yep. So Uba said she only has, like, 2 levels. She's either, like, super glam, or she's, like, casual, like ultra low. So,
which I will say, she at least has been living up to that.
I think she's that way. She's either one or the other for sure. So then they go to this restaurant. I had the name, and now I don't know what it was. Beach or I don't know.
She's just gonna maybe it was named Biscuit. Maybe this is where you got the biscuits.
It was something with a number too. Something 67.
2 biscuits.
I don't know what it was. Anyway, we're never going there. Let's just say that much. So they're all sitting down, and I can't figure out Bryn yet. She's like, she makes these little like snide comments that are like the waiter comes up and he's like, oh, hello ladies. And he's like, these ain't no ladies. Like, I don't know, like how young, I want to know how young she is and stuff.
I think
because
she's in her 30s. I think
when
I was looking
very
up
young.
Their names and stuff for the podcast, I think she was in her 30s. Like, she's the youngest for sure. No, she is.
No, she's definitely the youngest because she acts the youngest in the whole bit. So Bryn starts asking Uba, was she flirting with the trainer? And Bryn gives her some great advice, like, hey, you know, if you want to do some flirting, all you need to do is get a bunch of nudes on your phone, and just like when you're out, just start scrolling through them, and before you know it, somebody's going to like want to like, you know, hit her up and take her out, and she's like,
crime, unsolicited nudes, essentially.
Well, it's your own, but still in all.
No, but if you send somebody a picture,
no, you're not sending them. You're just taking your own pictures.
It feels like a crime.
No, but well, it does. It feels wrong. But
public nudity, to a sense.
I guess.
I don't know, girl.
There's got to be a better way.
You know what though? That sounds like something I could hear coming out of Sonia's mouth, and I think that's why I do find her a little goofy.
Yeah, I do find her a little Sonia-ish.
I could see. I could have literally heard Sonia and Crappy like doing that. Like it just sounds like a Sonia thing.
And it's the way she does it is that she says it so seriously. Like, I've done this before. Probably should have followed what she said. Yeah.
Also, Uba mentioned.
Did she say it worked?
I don't know. I was just saying that was just.
No, but I think she did.
I think she did. But I think Uba mentioned that she had 3 fiancés.
Yes, she did say something like that. Like, she was engaged 3 times. So I don't know how well that's working for her.
I didn't.
But then she's like, maybe that's how she got them and lost them. So,
but I didn't know anything about that either.
Yeah, me neither. I
guess she got the housewife title for being an housewife 3 times.
She's a serial dater, engager. I guess she's been engaged 3 times. I've never really heard too much about her and her love life. So I
know. Well, they just say, oh, she's a big time flirt. She's like that.
Well, so I didn't think expected
her to be engaged 3 times. Because it sounds like she just likes to flirt around.
Yeah. I don't know. I was taken back by that too. But now I'm intrigued. I feel like I gotta know.
See?
So half the table gets up. I think it was like Erin,
everybody but
Gianna,
Bryn and Jessel.
Yeah.
Dude, can we just see the paper towel?
It's in his mouth. Can we not?
Spit it out. I can't. How am I supposed to?
It's on the sun.
Oh my gosh.
Unacceptable.
Sorry, Cooper wanted to eat the paper towel that went to my ice pack for my knee, but now he's going to eat Sissy's tail.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
So half of them get up to go to the bathroom, except for Jessel and
Bryn.
And Bryn and Jessel start talking a little bit about Jenna's house, and she mentions that same thing again. And then Sai comes back, and she gets into it with her too about how, you know, it's not fair that if that was her, she'd, you know, have a fit and she would never let it go, and, you know, all this kind of good stuff. And then they all come back, and they start kind of like going. I think Jessel made a comment about like, well, you can't please everyone and you can't make everybody happy or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they kind of go into her, which I think definitely need to be addressed because she is really not self-aware. Talk about someone not self-aware.
Yeah.
She doesn't even understand that, like, the way she was talking about the lingerie was not nice. And they did clear it up a little bit more. Like, we were trying to figure out, like, why did she give this lingerie? Where did it come from?
I said it from it.
And she really, but they really clear-cut it, said, like, that, I guess her friend had made these pieces. Not necessarily for them, I don't think. I think she just gave them out to them or something like that. It seemed like it was something that they were...
Like, if that lady had a line and she just picked pieces for each girl
I think she was, like, she made stuff and she was giving it out to, like, share with them. Like, or to, I almost felt like it was, like, not, I don't want to say a test run, but, like...
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, she was giving out samples to see what people thought of it or what have you. That's kind of the premise I got. But they were trying to tell Jessel that, like, the way you're saying things is not really nice because you're coming down complaining, saying, oh, I look like a Christmas tree, and she...
Oh, my favorite was when Sai did it. Did you see Bryn in the back?
Yeah.
She was cackling, like...
Well, because she didn't hear it in the beginning, so it was all new to her. So, I mean, I guess it was kind of funny. But Jessel turns around and says to, like, Jenna, who really doesn't say too much. She really kind of lets all the other girls go with it. She says to her, you know, I'm sorry, I understand where you're coming from. And then she goes and says, so, like, you know, all I'm saying is, like, perhaps next time I would just, like... You know,
no, she's like, I would like to exchange it
or something for something that I actually would like or actually would wear. And like Jenna's like, she doesn't even understand that, like, she cleans it up and then goes and does worse.
Says something worse.
Yeah, and that's what, like, Jenna said that, not Jenna, Erin said the same thing. She's like, just stop. Just, like, put the darn thing on and just say thank you or, like, whatever and just, like, move on. Like, she makes, like, such a big deal out of it. Throughout the whole meal, Uba seems lost.
Oh my god, my favorite thing is that she refers to, what am I watching, a French movie?
That she's in a French movie. Yeah, she thinks she's in a French movie because she never knows what's going on. And then we do get to see Sai, like you said, doing a little content creating for the influencers in the world. that she's influencing. She's asked to stop and take a picture. So they get home, which is like weird because see, this is the parts that like I just feel like they're constantly now like eating.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even before they left,
she asked, "What are we gonna do?"
Yeah, Erin was like, "Oh, we're gonna go home, wait a few minutes, and then we're gonna eat."
Yeah,
or like if they're all waiting in their rooms separately doing nothing, there's really not for anything us to show. Like it's like a YouTube vlog when they just keep. They're like, "I'm having breakfast and now I'll be back
when we." Yeah, it's like what I ate in a day. It was very weird. So they are kind of just like sitting around, kind of waiting to they jump to the whole dinner, and I guess Sai and Uba are in the room with Jenna, and they tell her that they want her to wear something that's a little more seductive, a little more like out of her comfort zone. And Uba, of course, says she has something, and Jenna's like, I don't know, but she was like, there's certain things where I feel like she tries to be a good sport. She went with her and she put it on and the whole bit, and she got dressed up for them. And they, of course, when she came down, everybody was like, oh, look at you, oh wow, this, that, the other thing. So it was kind of a nice, thing that she tried to participate, which I think is what she was trying to say about what Jessel said about the outfit. Like, it's kind of like, that's just not nice.
Just do it. And
just do it and all like that, yeah. So they sit down to eat, and they're actually pleased with the food. Erin finally got some food correct for these folks. I mean, they were actually, like, crazy. Like, Bryn's, like, actually opening her mouth to have them just drop the food in because I guess she's so thinking it's so wonderful. And then she's like, oh, that's right, we're not the only ones here. Like, no, crazy girl. Like, sometimes her stuff is just a little unbelievable because it's like, I don't know, would somebody really be this way? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she does seem like a little flirty and flighty and whatnot.
She could judge it up for the cameras.
I definitely want to know what she does for a living. Did they ever really say?
I don't know.
Because I don't know what she's doing for a living, but I kind of feel like I need to know what that is. So they all decide to move into a little bit of two truths and a lie.
Oh, before we go to the actual dinner part, I noticed something. Sai comes down and she has like the lingerie top on. See, this is why I think she's going to be, like, a little secret pot star. Because, like, she put that on as, like, a dig. Like, look, Jessel won't appreciate it. But
I don't know. I think she actually liked it, though.
No, I think she did like it. I don't know. I just kind of noticed it. And I was like, just because we were, like, thinking about, like, how she wasn't really involved in the cheese. But then she was, like, involved with the stuff in the last episode. Like, I feel like she's going to secretly be, like, a little bit of a pot star.
Well, here's the thing. I think her obviously wearing the lingerie could just...
Cooper's whackier in the face with his tail.
I think just wearing it obviously could, if they took it to the next level, instead of just being like, oh, that's the top, you wore it, and like Jenna was like, oh, see, I love that. Like if more of the girls were around, it could have went to another level, but it kind of did fizz out. But who's to say that she didn't wear it, like you said, just to bring it back up in topic? Yeah. Like under the radar type, bring it back up in topic, like where I'm not gonna really do anything, but just me wearing it will be like a dig, of course, So I do agree with that. So the two truths and a lie, Erin decides to bring that one up, and of course all of them have to do like they're just like different things about where they've had sex and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, these women are like too grown to be really doing this much conversating, and to be honest with you wrecked popsicles for me. I mean, I'm like, I don't believe any of their stuff that they were saying, to be honest with you, but
she thinks they're
I don't know,
bunch of liars.
I don't know, some of it was very insightful because the ladies were coming up with some insight on like some of the stuff the girls were saying, but I also want to say that Bryn,
they're gonna they're gonna be big game people. I feel like every dinner there's gonna be a game.
Like, yeah, like the girlfriend's trip, like where it was like, oh, let's do questions or let's do something, or like I'm like, oh god, please.
I want to see you fight and throw fists.
Yeah, how are you gonna get
I like to see them fight
if you're not like, you gotta be talking it out, not be doing
unless
these
you start lying about other people. Yeah, but two truths and a lie. Who's my favorite housewife at the table?
Yeah, there you go. Like make a good truths and a lie. But then you have Bryn, who says that she acts like she's going to be like some big daredevil, big like showy person. And she says like, if the popsicle story is true, she's like, I will go and I will run around the house.
This is where she's not Sonia. Sonia would have stripped and been running around the house.
She didn't. She like did like a little bit of a flash or sorts, but that was not running around the house. She said run around the house.
Naked.
So, yeah. I was a little disappointed that I couldn't care less, but the fact that she didn't go through with it, I'm like, and she didn't even address it. Like she just like sidebarred.
Yeah, nobody even.
And they
said
were
anything.
saying they were saying like they were screaming like some kind of chant about run or go or something and she just kind of.
They didn't hold her enough to that.
They just let it go.
I would love a quesadilla, but It's all right.
Now? I don't think we even have the thing.
It's fine. What were you? I want pasta, but I've just got a little hankering for a quesadilla real quick. All right, let's go.
Okay, so now all the women start going outside, and they're going to
light a fire.
It is how many housewives does it take to start a fire? Yeah. Apparently, it takes a lot. When it's a gas fire, and all you have to do is push the button, turn on the gas first, push the button, and it will ignite. But yeah, it took quite a few for them to get that fire roaring. But nothing beat Brynn trying to find the refrigerator.
I mean, how do you open that fridge?
I don't know, but I wouldn't ask Alexa or Siri. Yeah, these girls don't work for their money. Neither one. Nobody came awake. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're...
Well, I would never ask Siri anything because, she's only on Apple. Alexa,
but she was asking everybody.
I know. Who next? Cortana?
I don't know. Whoever had a name, she was willing to ask. So.
Well, I think then she tried it the second time because she did say it, and then it did end up opening the fridge.
No, I think she just. Like, I think the other one came. Yeah, I think it's one of those like where you push.
I don't know, but I have never seen a fridge like that.
Well, it's meant to blend in with the cabinets. That's all it is. Like
usually they have they match the handles that are on like your cabinets as the.
Yeah, but this is a big thing too, where it's like all blended in. But I mean, she found it, figured it out, made it work, I guess. And I don't know, they came out with the kitty cups, and that spurred a whole conversation about the dollar store.
Yeah,
which I thought was weird because I understand. Listen, growing up, if you have to have everything from the dollar store, I mean, I had a lot of stuff from flea markets. I mean, I always wanted to be the person that had the brand new stuff and didn't buy stuff secondhand or whatever. But I mean, I don't think it's a big deal to like the Dollar Tree. I mean, the Dollar Tree is a fun place. I'm sorry.
I guess when all your stuff's from the Dollar Tree, it's not as.
I get it, but I mean, I don't think she needed to. I don't think she needed to come at them like that. Quite honestly, I mean. They were just trying to say it's a fun little store, but like if
because they do have like some like weird things. Like,
yeah, I mean, I get if you
sell vegan meats there now.
Yeah, I mean, I get if you are using it as your main store to live in, which sometimes it is not cheaper, to be honest with you, because sometimes you can get things cheaper in the food store on sale.
Well, not now that they're like $1.25.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, that doesn't.
Inflation at the dollar store. How do you even do that? It's a dollar store, but I guess that goes the same for Five Below, right, Koo?
Yeah. So, well, this whole thing sparks a whole conversation about her life and where she came from, and that she moved around like almost every year. She was in a different place, different school, and she was bullied and all this stuff. And I mean, it was really sad actually, because she was saying how her mom had not even a one-bedroom apartment. She rented a room in somebody else's apartment, so there was really nowhere for her to be. So like she moved out at 16 and was like with a roommate. I don't even know how you would do that, because like I guess you can get a job, but I mean it's really hard to do that kind of stuff. So I don't even know how you would manage that and stuff. But she had a rough life, so I mean I don't begrudge her.
That's why she wants her multiple plied toilet paper. I mean,
I get it. Yeah, I mean I get that stuff. But I was very surprised to see that Brynn also was poor. Although I'm not actually, because she looks like the type that when you get some money, you're like. She was talking about that she would look at the ads and want to like figure out where she would put all these like the furnitures.
Yeah, like when you look at the Toys R Us catalog and you circle all the toys you want. I still do that now because I can't afford those toys. I look around, I'm like, PS5 please. Oh, iPad please.
I mean that's kind of really where it's just like it ends like not abruptly, but it kind of just
kind of asked Jenna is she gonna stay the night.
Yeah, they ask her if she's gonna stay the night and she says yes, and it kind of just like fizzles down like the fire itself. And yeah, I mean it looks like crazy, some of the coming attractions.
I will say I know you were like, oh, it was boring.
I just think this one was very slow paced.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I
think that didn't help.
I was gonna say, like, I know you said you thought it was boring. Is it probably out of the three so far like the worst, I guess you could say? Yeah,
I don't think it was.
But here's the thing, I kind of felt like more was gonna happen because of the coming attractions last week. Like it looked like Brynn was gonna come in and like go crazy, but like no, she did. She had like these little sayings, but they just took all those like little moments and put them together to make it look like she was about to go off on these ladies, and she really didn't.
No, she really didn't. It kind of just like addressed things. Like she made a comment, like they made comments, like she's like, oh well,
it was like a catch up for her.
Yeah, she's like, oh well, if that was me, I would. Or something about like Erin doesn't have the same past for me that Jenna has, or something like that. Like she kind of was like,
yeah, which I will say I kind of like that Erin just was like, yeah, no, I like Jenna more, instead of being like
not even that. She says, well, maybe it's because I like her more. Or something. I know,
but here's
my
thing.
Damn, girl.
But I kind of appreciate that because there are housewives that this one likes this one more. Oh, she's gonna pretend that like there are better friends with one another. Yeah, it's like no, there obviously are levels to the friendships in the group. And I appreciate that she admitted it instead of just being like, no, I like you guys both equally, when clearly she does not.
I'm trying to figure out like who exactly is friends like outside of here. Even before, like somebody has to be friends with somebody.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure who I think Bryn was friends with.
Who?
Bryn. I don't know. Maybe Erin because they had the same trainer.
I thought it was Uba.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe because they're single. It's a tough call. Maybe they just all know of her. I don't know.
I'm going with Erin's the core that links everybody together. That's what I have to think. I think she's like the main one, and they all are like friends with her of some sort. I'm not sure.
Yeah, could be.
But for now, that's all for this week. We do these every Wednesday, and on Thursdays we do Crappy Lake. And on Monday, we do The Real Housewives of OC. And check out our other podcast. We talk about it all. We post every other Friday. And hopefully you'll leave us a good rating. And if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Don't give us a thumbs down. Instead, leave a comment telling us how we can improve. Subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any episodes. And that's it. I gotta sneeze.
Get it out, girl. Watermelon.
Oh my god.
I took her back to high school. Sorry. Just look at the light. That's all. There you go.
You're telling me to go towards the light?
No, look at a light. When they say when you look at a bright light, that'll make you sneeze. It used to work for me.
Well, it's gone now.
Watermelon never worked for me. That was bull donkey.
You could blame Pretty Little Liars Ashley Benson on that one. I heard her say that, and I've
never heard of it.
And every time I think of watermelon, I don't sneeze. All right, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. No. You're supposed to be saying hit the button.
Yeah, there's pasta and cat food to do. Hit the button.